Welcome back to Mimi's Organic Eats. Today we're making homemade cherry frozen yogurt with these amazing fresh cherries that I got from my friend's tree. And if you guys didn't know, I owned a bakery for over a decade and we made our own frozen yogurt from scratch. While I used to visit those chain yogurt stores all the time because the yogurt is just so delicious, I can't tell you how much better it is if you guys make your own at home. This cherry frozen yogurt only has a few simple ingredients. Let me show you how to make it. And before we get started, make sure you guys chill your ice cream maker in the freezer overnight. This is my KitchenAid ice cream maker, which I'll be using for this recipe. Next, it's time to pit our cherries. And there are a couple different ways to pit cherries, but let's be honest, pitting cherries just kind of sucks in general. But it's gonna make this homemade frozen yogurt so delicious. So one of my tips for pitting cherries is to use a cupcake decorating tip. This is a Teco tip number 804, and it's just a round circle at the top. So you're gonna take the smaller end of the decorating tip and put it right into the top of the cherry. Push, twist, and the tip will come right out the bottom of the cupcake tip. So if you guys don't have a cupcake tip like that, then you can just get a small paring knife and just cut the cherry in half and pull the pit out. This works so well. This is what we use at my bakery for pitting cherries, and I think it's so much faster than using the knife method, but if you guys don't have this, you can totally use a paring knife. That works as well. So if you guys have some cherries that are a little bit softer, they may not be ideal for eating, they're gonna be perfect for making this homemade cherry frozen yogurt because we're gonna mash up these cherries with some sugar and some water and to create a cherry-like jam that's gonna flavor the frozen yogurt. So it's perfect if they're a little bit softer. That way you can keep those really ripe and plump, juicy cherries for eating. So we're gonna need about 8 ounces of pitted cherries for this recipe. So once you guys have a little bit of cherries in the bowl, you can go ahead and weigh it and see where you're at, and then just keep going until you have 8 ounces. And if you guys want to use frozen cherries that are pitted, you can totally do that as well. Fruit is frozen at its peak freshness, so there's really no harm in using frozen fruit for this recipe at all. And you don't have to thaw out the frozen cherries if you want to use frozen like you would if you were making a pie or something. This is because we're going to be making a cherry compote, so that excess moisture that we would usually want to drain off the frozen fruit before using in something like pie will actually just burn off itself in the pot as we're making the compote. Once you have 8 ounces of pitted cherries, we're going to add these to a small pot. And if you guys have a little bit more than 8 ounces, that's totally fine. You can put them in there. I actually had 10 ounces today because I was just on roll pitting cherries. So now we're gonna add in 226 grams or 1 cup of organic cane sugar. And then last, we're gonna add in 1 cup of water. So we're gonna put this over low to medium heat at first. Whisk until the sugar is completely dissolved. Once the sugar is completely dissolved, then you're gonna turn the heat up to medium-high and bring to a gentle boil. We wanna reduce this a little bit and boil this for about 10 minutes. This is gonna make the cherry flavor more concentrated in the syrup, which is what we're going to use in our homemade cherry frozen yogurt. Once this cherry mixture is done, we're gonna put this through a fine mesh strainer into a large mixing bowl because we want this cherry juice. This is what's gonna flavor our homemade cherry frozen yogurt. And now I'm just doing this into a large mixing bowl because we're going to add our milk and our yogurt in here as well. So it's great if you guys have a mixing bowl with a lid. And we're just gonna let this sit while we mix up our milk mixture. Next, we're gonna add 2 cups of whole milk to a small pot. And now whole milk is gonna give you guys the best flavor, but if you wanna use reduced fat or non-fat, you can do that as well, but it's not gonna make the frozen yogurt as creamy as if you're gonna use whole milk. Then we're adding in 113 grams of cane sugar. We're gonna put this over medium-high heat and heat until the sugar is completely dissolved. If you guys have a drink thermometer, it's gonna be about 140 degrees. The main thing is you don't wanna let this boil because that can burn the milk. So I transferred the cherries to a small Tupperware. We're gonna put these in the fridge until we're ready to put together our froyo. So once our milk and sugar are completely combined, we're going to add this into the cherry simple syrup that's in our mixing bowl. And now just mix this together, and as you can see, it's turning a beautiful light pink color. So now we need to let this come down to room temperature, or you can even pop it in the fridge until it's cool. We don't want to add our yogurt into this mixture until the milk has cooled. Once your milk and cherry syrup mixture is cooled completely, then it's time to whisk it up. It will separate a little bit, and that's totally okay. So I put this bowl on my scale, and I'm gonna add in 1 pound of plain yogurt. And now my favorite is Alexander Family Farm, because they have the A2 yogurt, which is, I think is just like the best, like the cream of the crop yogurt. You guys could also use a plain organic Greek yogurt if you want as well, but do not use any flavored yogurts. Like don't use vanilla, don't use anything with flavors, because we already put sugar and flavor in this, so we just need a plain yogurt. And now you just want to whisk this up until it's completely combined. Now we're gonna have a beautiful pastel pink yogurt mixture. So we have our ice cream maker that's been in the freezer overnight, so it's nice and chilled. So go ahead and set up your ice cream maker and fit the paddle to your stand mixer. And now we're gonna turn this onto low speed with nothing in it, and then I'm gonna slowly pour in the yogurt mixture as the ice cream churns. And then we're gonna churn this for about 20 minutes. If you guys are using a different ice cream maker, you can just follow the directions for that specific ice cream maker, but I usually do about 20 minutes with this KitchenAid attachment. And now I just poured about half my yogurt mixture into a Pyrex measuring cup, because it's gonna be much easier to pour this into the ice cream maker from something with a spout. So once your frozen yogurt is ready, then it's time to layer it into a pan with the cherry compote. And now if you don't want to use the cherry compote, you can just dump it all into the pan. And now I just have a 1 pound loaf pan. You guys could use an 8-inch pan, a 9-inch pan, or if you have a large Tupperware, you could just layer it right into the Tupperware. That way you won't have to transfer it. So I'm just gonna add in about 1/3 of the frozen yogurt, and then we're gonna add some of the cherry compote and swirl it around. Then go ahead and add in another 1/3 of the frozen yogurt. Then we're gonna do some more cherry compote. And then we're gonna add the last of the frozen yogurt. And now it's time to transfer this homemade cherry frozen yogurt to the freezer, and you want to let it chill overnight. And now you guys have delicious homemade cherry frozen yogurt. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and drop a comment below. And if you want more cherry recipes like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join me next time in the kitchen.